Okay, so it should be live now. I haven't done a stream in ages. I'm not doing a camera because I really haven't had. Um, I'm living in a new place and I really don't have a good camera situation. It doesn't look absolutely god awful. And I'm just getting to a point where I really don't want to stress about it anymore. I'm just gonna roll with it. So what am I doing today? Well, first off, I am showing you Marauders, which is a PC game. So this is a tabletop gaming channel, and that's not really changing. But occasionally I like showing things that are a little bit out of the typical for me. Just because sometimes there are things that I think are at least like adjacent enough to the hobby that people can appreciate it. And in this case, because I don't have anything that I want to show, I don't want to show my beautiful face right now. Instead, I can just show something for people to look at that is not nothing, not just a static image or anything like that. You know, just something that people can look at while we're potentially chatting. I'm actually currently bringing up the chat so I can see who's talking, and I thought what I would first do is kind of talk about some things that have gone on while I have not been doing really any videos or anything like that. So if people happen to pop by, then I will respond to any kind of comments. If they don't pop by, then this will be just kind of like a chatty video that is eventually going to turn into kind of, I guess, like a let's play sort of for this game. No, I'm not trying to turn this into a video gaming channel. So don't be thinking that. But it's just that really there haven't been a whole lot of moments that I've had to actually just discuss gaming. Things have been incredibly busy. I see we do have some people popping in. Hope everybody is doing well. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on on this. And is that okay? It needs repairing. All right. So as I said, I will be responding to comments as I go, but otherwise I'll just be kind of chatting and showing people this game, which I think is a very cool game. Please let me know if there are any issues. I am kind of testing my streaming here. This is a new location. I haven't really done any streaming yet in this location and on this PC in this way. So, this is a completely new setup. So we'll see exactly how that goes. Anyway, a lot has happened. A lot has happened in the tabletop gaming space since I last did a video, and there have been many things that people were kind enough to let me know, that things were going on. But like I said, things have just been so hectic. I haven't had the opportunity to really get into anything. All right, so just a quick interlude. As you can see, whenever you launch into a mission in this game, you have objectives that it gives you, and those things can give you experience points that get you better deals with different factions and stuff. So this is kind of like a battle royale thing, but even though that is the case, that's not exclusively what it is. I am probably about to get horrendously murdered, and for everyone to see. We'll see what happens. I think I may try and find some salvage first, but while I'm doing that, I'll go back to what I was going to say. So probably one of the things that happened in the tabletop gaming space most recently that caught my attention was related to Goodman Games. So Goodman Games, for those who don't know, they make Dungeon Crawl Classics. They have been a company that I have enjoyed their content for a very long time. They are responsible for DCC as well as some other products, and then they have some mainline 5th edition products that I genuinely have no idea how well they do. I really never hear people talk about the 5th edition fantasy line. but that doesn't mean that it's not appreciated, if that makes any sense. But I always try to keep in mind the fact that they are not just doing DCC. They are participating in the 5th edition hobby. And they also do, this is something they're probably most well known for, I guess, would be the original Adventures Reincarnated series, the OAR, which I own a few copies and I've heard wonderful things about for the most part. So that is something to also keep in mind. But the reason I bring that up is that having your dipping your toes, it's not hardly dipping their toes, they've been doing this for a long time, into the 5th edition market does come with some expectations, I guess you could say. There are certain perspectives that are very widely reinforced. That is to say, there's a lot of particular political messaging that goes into 5th edition communities. Well, really just anything mainstream, or I would say the more indie title, the more indie gaming space. That seems to be something that's very prevalent there. So many of us kind of knew that Goodman Games was eventually going to be doing something about the language in Dungeon Crawl Classics. This is completely not a surprise. This is, in fact, I will just full disclosure. Whenever I first got into Dungeon Crawl Classics, one of the first things I kind of noticed, other than just how cool everything sounded, was that, you know, I was like, hey, that's you know, they're doing the old neutral he pronoun thing. And I actually, being somebody who is a late aughts, I guess you would say, late aughts college student, you know, who went to school specifically for literature, this was something I was used to in classical works, but not really something that I had noticed that prevalent in you know, modern, you know, contemporary things. It seems like it's something that was being phased out. So my immediate reaction was kind of surprise. Oh, we do have a comment. We've got Dark Knight of Hibernia saying, hey, good man, good to see you, man. Miss hanging out. You know, I'm hoping to try and get some streams going again, and if I do, you know, as far as like, you know, the gaming discussion streams, I will be more than happy to have you back on if you're interested, because I miss you. I miss everybody. Anywho, so that was it. We have been expecting that there would be changes. They announced that they would be making these changes, so, you know, no big deal. And I will say that from my perspective, I actually kind of welcome the idea. I understand that, you know, the traditional, you know, the roots of the language and all that, there is, you know, the precedent has always been there that you use he, you know, whenever you don't know the gender of an individual person. But at the same time, well, let's just say that I pretty strongly bought into the idea that maybe it would be good to go ahead and, you know, kind of try and make that something a little bit more neutral, you know. Of course, a lot of people know that 5th edition, the fact that I'm talking so much is honestly going to get me killed, but that's okay. Maybe that's part of the fun. That 5th edition actually takes the easy way out, and instead of having any kind of acknowledgement of any genders, period, they just go to the second person. Oh, someone's already shooting me. They go to the second person you. I'm going to assume that was an NPC.
Fuck you.
And if they are, then I can curse at them. That was indeed an NPC. So, oh, we got some comments. Let me see who's here. Politics, how could it go wrong? Indeed. And then JP Morris. How's it going, JP? It's good to see you, man. Honestly, I really miss interacting with everybody. Ooh, I want to steal that, but I don't have room currently. I've got to do some Tetra. I don't want to get rid of that. Let's... Oh, let's view there. That's not going to work. Okay. Yeah, that is going to be a toughie. Let's just drop the cable. There we go. Okay. This is what you end up having to do. And I could very easily be getting murdered right now. So people that are actually here for the Goodman Games discussion are going to be really annoyed with all these distractions. And I apologize, but right now this is what's feasible to me. So this is what you're getting. Anyway. So, the 5th edition took the easy way out of just using you. So, whenever they were announcing that they were going to make these changes, I was pretty well on the side of, yeah, that seems like, whoa, that could be a good idea. That could be a good idea. Now, I had no idea what it would look like whenever the finished product were to grace us with its presence. So I have seen a PDF of the 10th edition printing. I don't know that you'd call it. I guess it would just be 10th printing. And let's just say that I am not very enthused. Again, not because they did that with the genders, but because they did it very lazily. There are a lot of typos that I'm seeing. I'm hoping that there are changes that are going to be made before it goes to print. If it hasn't already, please, please, please tell me that it's not already in print, because oh my god, it is bad. Oh, I bet that was a player. I bet that was a player. Let's see. Yes, that would be a player. Okay. So the things I'm referring to are that there are some very clear instances where it appears that there are instances where, rather than actually taking the time to go through the entire book and make all of the necessary changes, that instead there must have been some either very quick scanning and changing, or there must have been some, Control F, replace all, he or she with, etc. with they. And the reason I say that is because there is an acknowledgement to Jim Rosloff that essentially says they have been in they has it says something to that effect, that he has, but it says they has or have been an inspiration, with their art for the decades and all that kind of stuff. So it's very clear that that was the case, and that there were similar kind of weird blips here and there in, I believe it was like the cleric text and things like that. Now, had I the time and not a very, very busy work schedule right now, I would probably take the time to put them on screen, highlight them, and all that kind of stuff. And, part of me apologizes for not doing that now. But like I said, I haven't made a video in a very long time, because I've been telling myself, if you're going to do it, you have to do it the right way, etc., etc., etc. And you know what? If people decide this isn't for me because it's not the quality that I expect, that's okay. Perfectly okay with me. I love everybody. I'm glad to have had them along so far. But right now, it may be a little while before I'm able to do that kind of thing again. So that is that deal. So that was one thing. So it looked lazy. But to me, the largest issue, the biggest, middle finger to everybody, actually isn't related to that at all. Instead, it is the fact that they removed the crediting to Gygax and Arneson. There is this nice blurb. In fact, if you look back at my old Dungeon Crawl Classics videos, one of my first videos where I did the deep dive is like a 3-hour video. I actually talked about how I absolutely loved the fact that they gave you this idea of the vibe of the game by just telling you, that you needed to acknowledge the works of elders Gygax, Arneson, Holloway, Cask, and all that kind of stuff. They had all of that there just so that people would know, hey, these are the progenitors of the hobby. These are the people that have kind of put us where we are now. And I absolutely love that. I love anything that acknowledges the things that people have done to get us where we're at. I think that that's culturally very important. I think it's a good thing. That doesn't mean that you can't, have misgivings about other aspects of people and things like that. And I know that the pressure that comes from people complaining about, for instance, the statements of Gary Gygax, the things about nits make lice, the complaints about Frank Mincer, all of the various complaints. You can't help but assume that either they were feeling like they wanted to distance themselves from all of that, or it's somehow so important that they save a page that they needed to just get rid of that section entirely. I have to believe it's probably the former, because I can't imagine that a single page would be that big of a deal, that they couldn't just find some other way to make it fit. I just have a really hard time believing that that's how it is. And it bothers me. It bothers me greatly that this is the thing that they decided to do, was to just take that part out, because it meant a lot, and I'm not even somebody who was around in the heyday, with all this kind of stuff. It's just that it felt nice to see the acknowledgement of those people in the hobby. So it's heartbreaking to see that gone. Instead, what you have is an acknowledgement saying that that diversity is something that makes us stronger and better, or something to that effect. Now, some people are going to hear that statement and they're going to be upset, and they may, because I'm complaining about the particular way that they've made these changes, they may assume that I would have a problem with it as well. But fact of the matter is that kind of thing really doesn't bother me. To me, the biggest thing is rather just the fact that they erased that part. It doesn't really bother me that people want to put these kinds of declarations in their works at all. If you want to say something like that, that's yes, it's clearly a political position. People may disagree on the idea that that's something that is explicitly political. They may disagree with that, and that's fine. But regardless, it's at least somewhat divisive and whatnot. But that inherently is not something that's going to kill a product for me. And I've made that statement several times, because really, to me, the most important 90% of the time, this is one of the 1% of the time, instances maybe. 90% of the time, the most important thing is that the game is fun to play. As long as it's fun to play, that is what I care about. Because I want my friends to have fun at the table. That is my goal. If we are, if I'm getting a game that has all of the right opinions, but we're not having a good time, then that sucks. Maybe I'm a good enough DM to make it work regardless, but that kind of sucks. I really am not concerned about that. So that particular thing doesn't bother me, but for some reason, it really does bother me that they are taking that out. It feels like the identity, something that was very strong, central component to the identity of what Dungeon Crawl Classics was to me, was disappearing. It was this kind of fresh, original you know, just like hearkening to the old, but you know, adding all kinds of new flavor, pulpy, cool stuff. You know, is what it felt like. And then now it just has this kind of generic statement. And you know, I can't even like, you know, it still has the appendix in it with the inspirational reading, I'm sure. Uh, so you know, at least you can point people in the right direction as far as that goes. But it's just really disappointing. So Dungeon Crawl Classics, you know, I really am just not as enthused about it as I used to be. So you know, am I never going to play it again? Grr. You know, I really don't know. And it's not that this happening is going to be the influencing factor. It's just that my enthusiasm for everything Goodman related has just kind of waned quite a bit. So that is all that. Let me like actually take a look at some comments while I'm taking a moment. Let's see. JP says, I intentionally bought older printings of Mongoose Traveler because they changed it. This is one of the reasons that a lot of people could probably get much higher prices for their older copies of things if they decide to sell them. So there is a market for it, just so y'all know. And you know, then of course you've got people like me that, well, I'm mostly happy these days to go digital. Let's say DCC is cringe. Aaron, just accept it. I can't accept that DCC is cringe. I'm sorry. I cannot accept that. The game itself, the mechanics themselves are often very fun. They're kind of mindless in a way. Like they're fun because they're so crazy. And it's really hard to go wrong with them. But, you know, it's still really fun. Speaking in the second person is a classic staple of being in a party full of people who you don't know, but they know you. Yes, that's a great point. That is exactly why it tends to be a thing. Ooh, we got some salvage here I can grab. Let's see what other comments we have. Got my copy of Secrets of Blackmoor DVD, loved it. Yes, for anybody who hasn't seen Secrets of Blackmoor, it is a documentary that goes over the Blackmoor campaign. Which, you know, that was Arneson's campaign along, you know, with all the other super cool people involved. And it's very lovingly crafted, enjoyable to watch, well edited. And I don't know the Chris guy, but I know the Griff guy. Griff was one of the documentary guys, and he is incredibly kind. Very, very, very kind dude. Love him. I actually had the opportunity to play in a first edition game with him. Not like a campaign, but we had a friend who's been working on a very, very cool setting for years and years and years and years now. You know, kind of like a Jeff Tillanian, you know, kind of project where he's, you know, been working on Hyperborea for ages. Or actually, it kind of reminds me of Empire of the Petal Throne in a lot of ways. But you know, this guy's been working on that for a long time, and he decided that he would throw together some quick games for his friends on Twitter. And that was I was fortunate enough to be included in that, along with Griff and a comic writer named Jesse White. And man, that was a blast. Griff was a really great player. They're all great players. But anyway, that was a really good time. Griff is a really cool guy, and anything that he does, I'm more than happy to support, just because he's such a good guy. Let's see what other comments we have. Oh yeah, and the documentary, like I said, very well done. So if you haven't seen, ooh, I'm getting torn up a little bit here. If you haven't seen Secrets of Blackmoor, highly recommend it. I think you can do like video on demand for it or whatever. All right, let's see what other comments we have. Plenty of products don't have attribution to the originators of the hobby product pastime. Removing them is a different matter. It does feel a bit like ignoring history. Yeah, well, I mean, so, yeah, you're right. You're right. It wouldn't feel like ignoring necessarily if they didn't mention it. Yeah, the fact that it's been in there for so many printings, and then just now they decide, well, you know, let's not do that anymore. You know, really there's no way to look at it other than them just wanting to separate themselves from the people, and that sucks. You know, I know that if I were in their shoes, I would not be taking it out. I feel like I'm privy to most of the things that people complain about when it comes to, you know, like all of them, all the people that are listed. And the tragic thing is that the majority of them have nothing. There's no slights against any of them, most of them. It's really just against a couple of them. And, you know, the same exact thing was done with 5th edition with the playtesters. You know, with the playtesters, we have problems with Zach S. We have problems, well, mostly Zach S. You know, I'm sure they also, you know, were gleeful about Pundit. But, you know, taking Zach S. off there was, you know, it seemed to be the biggest thing that they were trying to accomplish there. So yeah, whenever you remove something like that, it feels like burying more than anything else. So it maybe that's why it rubs me, you know, the wrong way so much, is because it seems like they're just burying the idea that they had something that they appreciated from all that stuff. And to me, that's it's not a good way to go about it, in my opinion. Let's see what other comments we have while I'm flying to this station. Game first, world second, players third. Quote from AD&D afterward. Yeah. Nowhere in that list is there anything about the particular views of the people who wrote the rule book. I do think that you know, it is important to keep in mind the reason that we buy those books to begin with, which, you know, some people, myself included, do occasionally buy these books because they want to support people. You know, they are glad these things exist for one reason or another. And I get that. I will not say that I haven't done that before. But, you know, usually we have at least some notion that we're going to be actually trying to use the books and play them because they are good games. I don't know that I've bought a game that was developed by somebody. I take that back. I have purchased games from people that I personally don't have a whole lot of, let's say, appreciation for when it comes to opinions or actions or things like that. I have done it because I ultimately wanted the product, and, you know, really, like, the little bit of money that they're getting from this, it's not going to make any bit of difference. You know, people will take their principled stands and all that, and I get it. But really, you know, my fun with my friends is more important than most everything else. That is my particular take on it. Yeah, I guess if it's one of those situations where, you know, like, you're looking for your particular retro clone, and they're not, you know, they're not going to be, like, all that drastically different, and so it's kind of like an all things equal otherwise, or mostly equal otherwise situation, then yeah, I get it completely. We have a comment here. AD&D is fairly Catholic in the same way Lord of the Rings is. And DK says, and that's why it's good. Well, I mean, so we, you know, it was written by Gygax, who was a very religious man. That is known. And there are a lot of, you know, elements in there. So that is a thing. I'm not going to pretend to be incredibly educated on that particular subject. So, ooh, I hear somebody. They're shooting. Never mind. I thought they were walking. They're just shooting. So they're possibly not that close. Ooh. I think I did hear them. All right. Oh, so anybody who's interested in this actual game, you probably should know that whenever you pull into a station, you should remember where you parked. So I'm at Service A. So that's an important thing to remember. Okay. So right now, what I'm trying to do is just find loot. Pretty simple. Actually, this is the mining facility, isn't it? So I'm actually looking for the foreman's diary as well, if I want to actually do the missions. Okay, so that was the Goodman Games thing. In the end of all that spiel is that I am not happy with the fact that they removed the attributions to Gygax and all of them. That sucks. And also, the other parts felt kind of lazy. Hopefully they fix it, or they have already. You know, like I said, I've been a very, very busy dude, so I haven't, you know, been like doing the insane levels of research that I would do once upon a time, where I would be like, okay, let me make sure that absolutely nothing new has come out, because I don't want to seem completely uninformed and look like an idiot. I'm actually, if that happens, it happens. You know, I'm just giving out opinions on the state that it was released at the last point that I saw it. So, which that was just like maybe a week or two ago. All right, so that's that. Okay, so DCC is behind us, and a lot of people are probably happy because they don't care about DCC. So something that they may care about. How about something that nobody will shut up about? That would be, of course, Baldur's Gate 3. Actually, who knows? It may be one of those things where it's going to have like a 1 month cycle, and then everybody is just, you know, completely silent. Starfield may actually completely kill it. Who knows? Oh, that's a sprinkler. I was wondering what that noise was. So, Baldur's Gate 3. Have not played it yet. I am probably going to. As I said, with all the busyness and whatnot, I really haven't had time to devote to a massive undertaking that is a long game. You know, one that I assume, you know, if I were really to dive into it completely, it would, you know, be just hours and hours and hours and hours. Let's see if I can kill this guy with one shot. A little higher. Yep. That is clearly an NPC. You really can't tell if it's an NPC or not unless you hear them talking or they kill you. Something like that. There are some telltale things, but oh, somebody's coming. Oh, there he is. He's not coming. So, Baldur's Gate 3. One of the things that I found most interesting, perhaps, was the fabled bear druid copulation. This actually kind of sent me into a... I guess I had like a few days where I was just like, I don't know if I even want this game. It wasn't just that. That was kind of like the tipping point. So, for anybody who's not familiar with the old Baldur's Gate games, the old Baldur's Gate games were like what, way back in the 90s. You know, they're quite old, and it was, you know, it had a lot of text, some voiced lines, but a lot of text, and it was, you know, you had companions there, and you could completely choose to ignore them. And in fact, that's how I think a lot of us chose to play the game. There was, you know, kind of like a main plot. But, you know, do you really care about the main plot? Maybe. Cutscenes? Not really. Maybe, just like you walk into an area, there's just a bit of talking for a little bit, and then after that, you know, you can just click through it. It's over. Nothing that big. They're not trying to make it this huge cinematic affair or anything like that. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 definitely did not get that kind of vibe from it, in my opinion. Ooh, I need that. I need that. Let's get rid of these. So, whenever the news starts coming out about Baldur's Gate 3, I gotta say I was a little bit dismayed. Because what do I keep seeing? Well, first off, we see that, you know, the campaign is supposedly surrounding the idea that you are a person who has been afflicted by some kind of mind flayers, like spawn or something, you know, and you know, it's just there is a whole thing about all this, and then you look at the companions, and that by itself is fine, I guess, because I guess overall my biggest thing is I just want to be able to ignore all of that nonsense, and I want to do some dungeon crawling. You know, Larian Studios makes really cool dungeon crawling, so not even dungeon crawling, but just like really cool strategic RPG gameplay. So that was what I was excited about at first. I was like, oh, you know, cool. I can do that, and it can have maybe some kind of relation to the 5th edition rules, which, you know, even though that's not exactly my favorite, it still works. And I've enjoyed some video games with them before. For those who don't know, there is a game called Sword Coast Legends, and I found it to be quite good. The dungeon crawling was pretty enjoyable, and it used the 5th edition rules pretty well. And so, you know, I was pretty excited. And then whenever the, you know, we have this thing that says Baldur's Gate 3 has more cutscenes. Its cutscenes run longer than the runtime duration of the entirety of Game of Thrones. And I'm like, huh? Really? I didn't know I was signing up for, you know, Metal Gear Solid 6. I mean, I love Metal Gear Solid, but Metal Gear Solid is not a dungeon crawler. And even, you know, Metal Gear Solid 5, I feel like I don't remember there being that much. You know, maybe if you add them all together, that's what you get. But I really can't think of a time I've ever wanted to play a game that was just that much. I am lost. If you're wondering why, you know, this looks incredibly boring right now, it's not that it's really that boring, it's that I just legitimately don't know where I'm going currently. I'm trying to find a door. Okay, that's over here. Now, usually there's some red lights. You can follow the red lights and it'll take you to a place where you can get out. Alright, here we go. Anyway. So they throw all that, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm sure I can skip that, right? You know, but then there's another part of me that's a little bit concerned about all that. It's kind of like, well, you know, if that's where they're putting so much of their effort, then maybe that's not a good thing for my purposes. You know, I kind of would like for them to, you know, they can have like cutscenes, I guess, you know, at pivotal moments, but you know, I really don't want to. I'm not trying to play Dragon Age. That's the thing. I do like Dragon Age. My favorite one was Dragon Age 2, which is, I believe, the least liked out of the series. There's somebody nearby. Is the least liked out of the series, and one that has probably the least exploring, honestly, and also the. Oh no, that's an NPC. Okay. Just pop out, dude. Just pop out. I'm not gonna waste this ammo. Come on, come on. How many are there? Oh, jeez. At least they're bad shots. I say that and then I'm gonna die. Woo. Yeah, they're moving up. I need to use my actual gun. Oh my goodness. So, needless to say, Baldur's Gate 3 had me concerned on that front. And then I'm like, okay, well maybe I can get into what's going on with the characters. Maybe that's something I can do. So let me go see what the characters are like. So I look at some of the stuff online, you know, the character bios, and we have such hits as a guy who banged a magic goddess, you know, Mistra, I believe it was. So we have a guy who banged a goddess and was himself, from, if I remember correctly, an archmage who is somehow, you know, lost his magic, I guess, or is, you know, having to restart from square one, whatever. Which, I mean, like, would I read a story about that? Maybe. Maybe I would read a story about that. Maybe I'd even watch a movie about that. Do I want that to be like one of the secondary characters in a role-playing game like this in a D&D universe? Maybe I can handle one of those. Maybe. I mean, that's already kind of got Solus from Dragon Age energy, and I freaking no, I'm not keen on that. So that is not really my cup of tea. And then we have another one. So we have another one who is, I don't know, what was it, like a vampire? You know, you got a vampire. So now we got, you know, like a whole Ravenloft thing going on, so people can, you know, have their Strahd fixation. And I just feel like, you know, I'm almost out of ammo, I'm fairly certain. And I'm bleeding out. Okay. Actually, I'm doing okay on ammo. So we had that, and then, you know, I just continued looking at the different characters, and probably like the most tame one that I found was actually one that it was the cleric, and the clerics just said something to the effect of, you know, she's, ooh, I can upgrade my bag. Woo, yeah. The cleric had, how is it put? She was gone on a quest from her deity, kind of thing. So I mean, what it really felt like, and these are starting characters. These are starting. That's my biggest thing. You know, if these were, you know, characters that weren't starting characters, I may be able to, you know, look at this and be like, oh, okay, you know, we're gonna get there somehow, right? Oh, Jesus, another one. We're gonna get there someday, but instead, no. Like, this was the starting point. There's just this idea in contemporary fantasy, it seems, that everything has to be such a big deal. You know, nobody can be just a guy. Oh my God, nobody can be just a guy or a girl who, you know, is starting out and, you know, from next to nothing. That's just not. It's not what we want to do anymore. It's not interesting enough, and I don't see why. It like what this is, you know, with Baldur's Gate 3, the characters, it really is, you know, as above, so below kind of thing, where, you know, you have all of this stuff permeating in the culture of the game, a 5th edition rather, where people have this expectation that, you know, this is what D&D is. You know, it's, you have these characters with these crazy backstories, and they're doing crazy stuff, like, right out the gate. And contrast that with, you know, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, where, yes, your main characters have a lot going on. Your side characters, they got some stuff going on, but it's just not that. It's not that level. It's not that level of it. And, you know, I just, that was another turnoff for me. And that was before we got to the bear sex. I mean, so by the time we got to the bear sex, and I, you know, hopefully this is the point in the video that, you know, it's not going to be causing me too much grief to talk about it like that. But by the time, about the time that we got to that, I was starting to suspect that something was a little bit off, you know, with the characters and all that. And then there are people mentioning stuff about romance. Romance, romance, romance. People are starting to mention that. And, you know, again, what it really feels like is it feels like what they were trying to do with the game is, as far as all of that stuff goes, they were trying to seize the gap that has been left by such things as freaking Dragon Age, because Dragon Age 4 has been in development for ages now, and people are dying. They literally cannot stand to wait another moment, you know, to have their virtual romps with their strange. I'm not shaming people, you know. I was a Cassandra man in Inquisition. Judge me if you like, but you know, she is indeed waifu material. Let's see. First one. It was well, I mean, that one was a tough one. It ended up being it was the Bard girl first. I can't remember her name. Liliana. It was Liliana, and then Meryl, I want to say, in the second one. You know, yeah, and then third one ended up being Cassandra. That's because Aveline shut me down. You know, she was not interested in it. You know, had to mourn the dead husband. You know, oh my gosh, big deal. But yeah, just the fact that people, that seemed to be something that was getting a lot of attention. You know, the articles and all that were very interested in the romance aspect. There's a lot of it being stressed, and I don't, you know, I'm sure it's entirely optional and all that kind of stuff, but these are just a lot of little things here and there that were slowly just eroding my enthusiasm for the game. And I actually really wanted to make a video just kind of going over that stuff as it happened. The bear thing, the bear thing is just kind of like, why? You know, like, there are many situations where people will attribute those kinds of things in media, and then they'll say this is somebody's twisted fantasy that they're kind of like wanting to play out with other people having to deal with it. And usually whenever people make that complaint, I'm like, oh, no, I don't think so. I think, you know, maybe they had some kind of like story they were wanting to tell, you know. But I mean, in this case, it seems like it's genuinely just a humorous thing. And it's, I mean, so for people who aren't aware, it's a druid that, you know, turns into a bear, you know, theoretically for heightening the thing. And that seems to be something they're into. So I can't help but kind of agree in this situation that it seems completely unwarranted and weird. I don't know. Let me see what other people have to say. Let's see here. Oh, there have been quite a few comments. Oh, man. K5K, sure haven't made a video in a long time. I know. Been very busy. Let's see. Oh, I accidentally skipped that one before. Gelatinous Rube, Aaron, I miss you. I miss you too, man. I miss you. We're going to have to do something together sometime. Let's see. Chad, Swords and Wizardry versus Virgin Everything Else. Swords and Wizardry is a great product. I actually got the new OGL free one in the mail a couple months back. I have yet to really look over it, but I'm sure it's fantastic because it's done by Matt Finch. And it's, you know, everything that we love, but with a few things changed. Squirrel Hermit says, hey, how's it going, man? It's good to see you. Good to see you. Came in the rust bucket, potting out is fine. Yeah, that's, I almost exclusively use the rust bucket in this game. It's the one that costs nothing. I don't feel bad about losing it. It's fine. Let's see. Baldur's Gate 3 complete with Crimes Against Humanity. You're trying to sell me on the game now, it seems. You know, Crimes Against Humanity, that makes the game more fun. Arnman says, "Heyo." Arnman, for those who don't know, is awesome dude who was playing in my 1E game a while, you know, back whenever I was running that, and took over it whenever I left. And, you know, as far as I know, it's still going. So he's a champ. Very, very fun dude. Let's see what else we got here. Aaron is going to OG Baldur's Gate because he simps for 2nd edition. Okay, I do like 2nd edition. I you know, for me, that probably the thing that I don't, the only thing I don't like about it is just the Tenari, was it Bizantu? I can't remember. Batizu, I think it, I don't know. You know, the fact that they changed the demons and devils, that part is kind of sad. To me, that part's kind of sad, but that's really about it, you know. I love it. I love it otherwise. You know, like a lot of the things that people didn't like, people whose opinions I greatly respect, such as like EOTB. I doubt that he'll watch this, but not that he doesn't like ever watch my channel, but just that, you know, this is a video game thing, largely. You know, he had some very, what seemed to be very valid complaints about something like the schools, the priests' circle of influence, spheres of influence, with their spells, and I thought it was really cool. He had really good rationale behind it, but you know, I liked it for what it did for my character. That being said, you know, EOTB plays a game that is very, very, it really puts the mechanics through all of its paces, and I think maybe that's the difference, is that, you know, he's got all this experience behind it, so he's been able to see you know, the things for what they are. But I really do love 2nd edition a lot. Let's see, where else we got here? But besides the degeneracy in the politics, apparently the game is poorly optimized and the gameplay isn't that great. If you're talking about Baldur's Gate 3, I've heard exceptionally to the contrary. Okay, I haven't heard anything about the optimization, so I'll admit that. I've heard nothing about the optimization. That's completely new to me. But as far as the gameplay goes, the gameplay has been... Mostly people have just been talking about how much fun it is, you know, just because it's a Larian game, which means that you can interact with things in ways that you don't normally, which means that it's really well suited, at least for combat purposes, for D&D. You know, Larian Studios, like Divinity, Original Sin 1 and 2, those games had a particular problem, in my opinion, where... Well, it's not really a problem. It's just something. It's just a facet of the game where you can use one strategy to overcome, you know, like almost everything. Not really one strategy. You can use one of a few different strategies, and it will overcome all kinds of stuff. Largely involves perils. I think I'm being shot at by some. Oh, it's one of those. I actually have my headphones up so high that I literally can't even hear myself talk pretty much whenever I'm under fire. Like that. The noise is just so high. Anyway, you know, because whenever I played Divinity Original Sin, what I would often do is find the nearest barrel and make sure I'd have somebody strong enough to lift them. And then I would, you know, combine water or whatever kind of available thing. I would use that and whatever spells I might have to cause gigantic, you know, effects that would just completely obliterate everything in an area. You know, like water and electricity. You know, oil and fire. You know, or any of the other weird stuff that you could end up doing with it, just to completely obliterate things, is what I would do. And I don't know that that's something I would really want to do with a D&D game. It's weird. It's like D&D has kind of ruined certain video games for me, in video game play styles. I don't know how to feel about that. I guess, you know, like, just because I had this incredibly strong emphasis on verisimilitude for a time whenever I was playing D&D, means that I just, you know, if it didn't make sense to me, you know, then there were just serious problems. And, you know, like just the tying between of the way that magic works, for instance, and what the effects would be on the world. Ooh, there's somebody already. I know you're here. Okay, that's actually an NPC. For instance, Neverwinter. If anybody's ever played Neverwinter, not Neverwinter Nights. Oop, oop, am I under it? No, I'm not. If anybody's ever played Neverwinter Nights, if anybody's never played it, I should say, then one of the things that you deal with in Neverwinter Nights, not Neverwinter Nights. I confused myself. Not Neverwinter Nights. Neverwinter, the online game, is that because it's 4th edition, and you are always basically in combat mode, more or less. You have the at-will powers constantly, which means that you are consistently, if you are a magic user of any kind, just hurling spells all day long. Just spell. You know, and to me that is a huge turnoff. Like, because I can't help it. My brain is like, wait a minute. People are doing this in this world all the time. Like, magic is such an omnipresent thing. You know, people are able to just keep it going constantly. Just boom, 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 boom. Magic missile, magic missile. How does that change wars? You know, how does that change? Like, you know, the way, think of how people are about, you know, current technology. You know, with weapons. You know, the way people are about wanting to restrict them and everything. And I'm not getting into a whole political thing, I promise. But think about how they are about that. Just imagine if someone could just make a little, like a hand gesture towards you, and then just send, you know, missiles in your direction that will go through like all kinds of stuff. I mean, you just get hurt, you know. Unerring miss, you know, unerringly accurate as well. Like, imagine if, and you could just keep doing it all day, just boom, 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 boom. Just imagine what the world would be like. People would want to just murder wizards, I imagine. I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking about that, and meanwhile, in the game, what I would be doing is, you know, like doing silly dungeons, which really, you know, it didn't feel like a D&D dungeon experience. It felt like just running. It felt like, I don't know, like a hack and slash, you know. It was just combat. Oh, there's somebody there. Let me see if they can talk. Is that a player? All right, I'm gonna like test and see if, you know, you respond to cursing.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Okay, I think it's a player. Well, to those who are about to die, I salute you. There's no way that was a player. That was too easy. That was way too easy. Let's look, though. That was a player! Oh my god. Maybe he thought that I was saying I wasn't going to fight him. And if so, then I feel bad. Oh god. Okay, you saw it here, folks. I managed to kill one singular player. And I could try to steal his ship. I don't know if I'm going to... Oh, it's a light scout. I am definitely taking that. I don't know where he's parked, but I'm going to assume it's out this way, maybe. I hope that I get to, that actually alone might make it worth it. Let me see if it opens this one. Yeah, I kind of feel bad if that was a player. Because, you know, like if he didn't speak English. Okay, not this one. We'll see. I got 17 minutes of oxygen, so we'll see. That is a huge problem for me, though. Whenever, like, stuff that's happening in the game, whenever I'm playing a D&D, like a licensed D&D game, if, like, the verisimilitude is just so out of whack that I have a hard time making up for it. It's just a huge problem. It's really stupid, and I know that. But that's just me. That is just me. I'm just stupid, I guess, when it comes to that. So that is another concern that I've kind of had for the game, is that it would be just too hard for me to. Oh, I need that hard hat actually. So even though it's worse, I need it for a quest, as you can see. Core contracts. Oh, as a player. I don't know if that was a player or if like they're starting to give those to NPCs now. Okay, I need to try to find more exits. Here's another one. I also need to find more ammo for my gun. Oh, I have a Mac 10. I can use the Mac 10 if I need to. It has some ammo. It's got 5 shots. Never mind. Oh, it uses 45 though. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Whew. Hello. Hello. Are you player? Okay, definitely was not a player. Okay. Yeah, it's one of those situations where red flashing lights does not mean that. I may just have to give up on that dude's ship, honestly. It looks like I may actually get out of here with some decent stuff. So I may actually try to play a little bit more cautiously, but we'll see. This could be a whole ass circle. I think it is a circle. Pan 3C. Nope. No dice. It doesn't tell me on the card, does it? No. It's part of the fun. So the whole idea that, you know, people were talking about something like an owlbear, some kind of special way to be able to kill, you know, like doing from the top rope or something. I don't know, but you know, just the kind of like physics silliness that you're able to get with Divinity, Original Sin. And that has me kind of, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how I feel. I do plan on getting it. I don't think I'm gonna get it at full price because I'm not in any hurry, and it's just kind of like my general position in life to not care enough to do that. But I've got so much to play that I don't need to spend $60 on a game. And meanwhile, I'm sure people are like, oh, you know, I'm spending thousands on, you know, like microtransactions because why not? I have the money. That's not my situation, unfortunately. I got to be a little bit more mindful. So, of course, I'm going to wait until after it's no longer relevant to play it, so that way all of my comments are made when nobody cares anymore. That is the err in the pedantic way. I wonder if I even had any missions here. I really have been doing a poor job of. Oop, somebody's around. Examine the prisoner manifest. I have no idea where that would be. Oh, there is somebody here. That was definitely an NPC. Players are not. They don't move that dumb. Doing okay on ammo. At this point, I think I may end up having to find a drop pod. Okay. All right. So that's it for Baldur's Gate 3 for a minute. Whenever I get to a safe spot, that's whenever I'll start going over comments again. I do hear somebody. definitely not a player. I guess maybe the AI could use some improvement, but honestly, there have been times where the AI just totally wrecks me. So I'm not gonna push it there. Oh, what about my lockpick? Lockpick. How do I use it? I don't know how to use a lockpick. And I'm sure there's a key binding that I just don't know. I'm not that worried about it though. I need to start thinking of an exit. I'm honestly amazed I'm not dead yet. But I haven't really come across any good players. Well, not good players. Who knows? That guy may have been like the king of all players and he ran out of ammo. And, you know. Actually, I could have checked to see if he was out of ammo. Alright, so I will go to the comments again, and so we may end up rehashing some Baldur's Gate 3 commentary. But until then... Library. Let's try library. Oh! Library! We found it! Ladies and gentlemen, we are one ship richer, and it looks like they may have killed somebody for it. That would have been great if it was like... Bleh. Okay, so Baldur's Gate 3. Done with that. The other thing, I guess, to talk about that happened in my absence would be D&D got in trouble for some AI art. AI art is a huge thing. You know, people either care so much about it or just, you know, genuinely don't give a crap. There's very little middle ground, but it's understandable, I guess. Oh, wait, this is a rust bucket. This is mine. Dang it! How much time do I have? He's got a light scout. I got 10 minutes to maybe try to find it. I don't know if this stuff is worth quitting now. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get that ship because that could be worth, you know, like 20,000, which is a pretty decent penny. Anyway, the AI art thing. So, really, I guess, you know, I'm not really one to tell you how you should feel about the situation, you know, as far as like AI art and all that goes. So, really, I guess the most I'll do is at least just talk about what happened. So, OGGM broke it. There are probably a lot of people that talked about it. It's, you know, it hit the big leagues, but I haven't really said anything. AI art is... What happened was there was an artist that was making art for the newest D&D book that was just released recently, and this guy... I hear somebody. Nope. Okay. This guy apparently used AI to touch up his work, like after it was already... Oh, no. Okay, well, yeah. So there's one person that did that purposely. And then, so the claim that they made was that they did not know this guy was doing that. Which a lot of people found to be kind of sus, because it seemed to be a fairly well known that this person was doing stuff with AI art. I can't comment on that. But there are a lot of people that thought that was a little sus, and you know, just giving the way that they tend to be, I wouldn't be enormously surprised if they were kind of like, well, we didn't know, we're sorry, you know, don't be mad at us, we're good people, we have, you know, the right opinions on this, we would never use that. You know, that's the kind of thing that would be quite expected. There were rumors, you know, there were people that were saying, actually more, not even rumors, it was declarative, but I didn't find the other person that they were talking about. People were talking about how supposedly there was another person who didn't use AI art, but then whenever the finished product came out, they like, oh, they clearly took my work and ran it through AI for cleaning it up. And they were very upset about this. And again, you know, Wizards was... Well, actually, I didn't see the response to that, so I really can't say. The only thing that I saw them actually acknowledge was the one that admitted that, yeah, I did this. So it is funny. It is funny that this happened because, you know, they make such grandiose statements, and you know, they're always harping on about, you know, doing all of these right things and whatnot, and yet whenever it comes down to it, you know, they somehow end up having stuff go into their products that they end up having issues from, you know, taking issues with their own content. We're sorry. We didn't mean it. It's just interesting. I guess I really don't have too much to say on the matter. I just think that really anytime it's conceivable that people would complain about anything in large number, then they're going to take the position of being against it. It's just very, very, very... It feels predictable, you know? It just feels very predictable. Where is this ship? Okay, I'm running out of time. I just need to take my rust bucket, cry myself to sleep that I'm not going to get that light scout. I could probably craft a light scout, so no big deal. So it amused me more than anything else. Obviously, I'm not upset about it. People, you know, the whole AI art thing, I get that people care about it a lot because of the fact that, you know, it is their livelihood for a lot of them. You know, that is, they make their living by They make their livings by, you know, creating art, and then here you have this threat, this thing that is making it where people are no longer needing to pay you a, you know, sizable amount for your hard work, and instead they can just get somebody that's good with prompts and things like that to generate something that is acceptable. I get that is a really passionate thing or whatever, but there's really an insidious nature to the way that people are about it. Really, with anything, it's like it affects people in some bad way, even if it's like something where there should be some kind of middle ground in some situations, where people should be like, okay, it makes sense that if you know, the thing is, you're either not going to put out a product, or you're going to put out a product with no art at all, and then it's just looks very bland because you don't have money for this, and you're having to do your own layout and all this kind of stuff, you know, just because you just don't have a budget for art. That in that situation, maybe it's better for people to be able to go ahead and use AI art so they can put something on there and have, you know, a product that's at least kind of pleasant to look at. But there are a lot of people that they're just like, no, you should just don't do it. You know, hire somebody. I'm definitely not of that particular bent. I have my sympathies. You know, being a writer, amateur. You know, I'm not like published in much or anything like that. Especially mostly just have poetry published. But I am working on writing, and so, you know, the fact that there's AI that can at least somewhat, you know, create some writing that people can at least work into a decent fashion. You know, theoretically that a little bit with what's going on there, but I don't know. Like, I just I completed a mission because I killed that one guy. Yeah. Oh, I killed 2 players. Yeah, I did kill 2 players. All right, man, that's a good list. That was a good run. Yeah, the people just get so crazy about it. In fact, there was a person that I have followed for a long time on Twitter. You know, I still do the Twitter stuff occasionally, because occasionally people give interesting opinions. And there was somebody who was talking about how they had a contract, so like an actual signed contract and everything, that was why would I keep it now? I'm not going to ever find that thing again. Had a contract to do some artwork, and then because they charged so little, the person assumed that they were using AI, but it was the weirdest thing ever. It was the weirdest thing ever. For anybody, if you want to look it up on Twitter, it's like, I'm going to say that the user's name is like ThoughtPunk or something. Like ThoughtPunk, I think. So they're like, well, clearly you were using AI because you're charging us so little, but you lied to us about it. And so because of that, we don't want to have anything to do with you. So we're not going to go through with the contract. And you know, the person had already spent the advance and stuff like that. And so now that person is in a serious bind, and all that just because, you know, AI art, not like, me personally, man, I don't I don't get it. You know, like, it's, people get so caught up on certain issues, and like, they lose all sense of humanity with the way that they treat people. I do not get it. It is very unfortunate. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Very, very unfortunate. BG, bad game for those who don't know. Usually you say good game, but I need to make some space. I need to sell some stuff, so. I'm going to keep that government model, and I really like that gun. I'm going to sell this one. Yeah, that was a pretty good haul. There are probably people that are looking at this, and this is like a total nightmare because of how terribly optimized I am with this space I have in my inventory. Oh, no. Need a little more. There we go. So I just need a helmet that is not that hard hat, and some medical supplies, and then I'll be able to go back into the fray. Sell that. Oh. Buy helmet. Ooh, let me see if I can, I forgot to check. Ooh, how long does this last? Oh, this just started. Good. So I'll be able to get an MP40 with some goods pretty quick. Maybe I'll do that now, actually. Yeah, let's do that now. Yeah, buddy. Suppressor. And stock. Yes. I'll save that for later. And now I have nowhere to put this thing. This is a logistical nightmare. Oh, put on the helmet, dumbass. Yeah, I call myself names sometimes. There we go. Okay, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Now we're ready for another run. All right, let me read comments. Okay. Add bear buggery and your enemies will do it for you. More cutscenes, less gameplay. I don't remember paying for a movie. True. JP Moore says, I don't hate it in zippy action games where that's kind of what they're selling, like Tomb Raider, Uncharted. CRPGs, I want decent turn-based combat and puzzles. I am of the complete same opinion. That's just what I want in CRPGs. I really, I'll enjoy cutscenes in a strat RPG, you know, like Final Fantasy Tactics, where, you know, we're doing a cutscene, and then we're going to the map, and then we're having a fight, then we're doing a cutscene. You know, where like, I don't know. There's something about that loop that's a lot more pleasant for me than whenever we're also throwing exploration into the mix. JP says Conan is not an ordinary man. He might have matured in chains, but he's highly implied to be King's blood. Well, I mean, that's fine. You know, like even like an Aragorn type situation, I feel like is not overwhelmingly, you know, my special character syndrome. Really, that's fine. That doesn't. It's. I don't know. It's all these really over the top ones that really get me. Getting to the raid early is a nice boost. Chips are worth it once you track down commando bags. Oh, so JP legit plays this game. So JP and I, we're vibing right now. Lion and Dragon kind of ruined us both, Aaron. It's a shame. I really have to see what you have to say to bring that, because I'm curious how you feel like Lion and Dragon ruined us. Video and TTRPGs are scratching different itches. I was watching a 40K video earlier that explained that perfectly. Video games always work. They are fun because of flow. War games are fun kind of because they don't work. You have to orient yourself around the rough edges. That's true. DK. D&D is a resource management game worrying about how do D&D worlds work. Worlds magic is a bit of a red herring. To a degree. So for me, I like there to be, this is straight out of the Sanderson playbook, for those that like Brandon Sanderson. He likes for magic to have rules. You know, I like for magic to have rules. I don't really care where it comes from necessarily, but I like for it to have rules in games, because then, and maybe some fiction as well, for sure, because then, you know, we have the ability to understand the limitations, and we can implement situations where those restrictions and limitations become a problem, and it, you know, adds to the tension and adds to the fun for me. No one would want to play a D&D video where you had to plonk down a Minecraft bed to get spells off cooldown. So kind of true. If it was like a day-night cycle, 100% agree. And I understand that is really like what the inherent flaw of a D&D MMORPG is that you really can't play it with the idea that you're going to have daily spells and stuff like that. The closest I've seen that got it for me was Dungeons and Dragons Online, which, you know, that used 3.5, but instead of having per day, you could go to these shrines, these like resting shrines, and then those would get you your spells back. Or it'd get you your MP back, so there is that. You know, it did have an MP system instead of like specific slots. But because of that, it felt like more of a limited resource instead of just you going like the Energizer Bunny. That was kind of, I don't know, it made it a little bit more digestible. That one didn't bother me as much. Looks like I need to go to the spaceport. I need one more hard hat. Hopefully I can find one. We'll do a couple. Oh, you need to swap the key card slots. Oh man, if I would have read that comment. That's so obvious. I should have known that. On one hand, I don't like thinking machines. On the other, these people get all jumped for joy when Middle America got hollowed out by automation. Yeah, that is true. I mean, so I will say this: whenever we do have those arguments about, you know, these are the people who, I feel like, you know, it's fair to hold that, you know, to particular people, but you never really know. Because I have, you know, me personally, I have some positions on some things. Well, I'm usually very consistent about my positions, so that ends up being situations where when other people are incensed about one thing, I might be like, no, you know, like that's understandable, even if it's somebody that I don't like that's, you know, possibly screwing up somehow, and vice versa. You know, whenever somebody is screwing up, you know, then I'm not cutting them slack just because I tend to agree with them more, if that makes sense. So that's, I don't know. I don't like to make gross generalizations, but I mean, I will say you know, from my experience, that it does tend to be accurate. I didn't even bring a healing item, so I'm actually really glad that I bumped into this. Let's go ahead and just grab all the meth so we can get methed up. Is this actually, yeah, it is methamphetamine. Gonna get methed up later. Can't actually use it though, I don't think. I haven't actually tried. Oh my god, you can. Please don't demonetize. And I also I should have brought more ammo. I'm gonna have to probably use the pistol most of the time so I don't use up all my ammo. Okay. Let's just go to the spaceport. You know, if I'm gonna die, let's just get it over with. That's like that one guy. Might as well die. I guess I'll just die. That's what it is. I guess I'll just die. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna do this run and then maybe sweep up the last bit of the comments, and then I'll probably call it for the evening because my jaw is starting to hurt. I have TMJ dysfunction, for those who know what that is, and it's been acting up a lot the last couple years. So if I talk too much sometimes, then it just hurts terribly, and I need it to be feeling better for tomorrow. So that also started, you know, making it harder for me to stream as much, unfortunately, or stream, or really just do any kind of long form content. But it is what it is. All right. So now that we're at the end of all this, and I've talked about all that stuff, I feel like there's still something else I want to talk about. D&D related. Hyperborea. I mean, so I got Hyperborea for my birthday this summer. My very, very lovely, kind young lady, the maiden with the red hair. You know, whoa! I just got you. Oh, come on! I bet that was a player. That was too precise. Only stormtroopers could. He was just waiting for somebody to open, I guess, and I heard it. All right. Well, that means I'm gonna have to do one more round. That's just obvious. And what the heck? Let me use. Oh, okay. No, I can't use that right now. Then I need to use 32 APC. Yeah, ACP stuff. 32 ACP. Nope. I don't think this will fit in anything. Forget it. Let's go out with a bang. I'm just gonna use my big gun. That is not enough ammo. Guess I could use the trench gun. That should do. Let me just get a little bit of space so I can get a helmet. I wish you could just equip from here. Yeah, you don't seem to be able to. So that kind of blows. I hope that, you know, if they're listening, which I know they're not, that would be nice. Okay. Oh, now they're selling 32. Okay. In 10 millimeter. Nope, not selling 10 millimeter. I probably actually had enough ammo. No, not really. And a pistol. Actually, I'll just grab the Luger. That's there. Oh wait. Nope. Nope. Cancel. Okay. Almost went in without armor. No, I have armor. It's just very crappy, and I barely could see it. Okay. Let's see comments. Oh, no new comments. All right. Well, I guess I can talk about this game a little bit. So, I've been playing a lot of Space Sims recently, whenever I do have spare time. Mostly Elite Dangerous. And one of the things that really, I guess, I wouldn't say it's disappointing about Elite Dangerous. Maybe it was a little disappointing. Is that it's really not great for space piracy. Elite Dangerous isn't. I don't know that anybody, that very many people actually play the game that way. Like go around and steal people's cargo and all that. I mean, I know you can interdict people. I know that. You can obviously blow people up. And there is an item that allows you to steal their cargo, or at least make their cargo hatch open. But, I really haven't encountered... the thing that I encountered more than anything was just people that wanted to grief you, so they just blow you up. And, they don't get anything for it other than, like, maybe... Yeah, they don't get anything for it. they just blow you up. So that is a thing. It kind of meant that I really couldn't pursue that dream of space piracy, right? And I really haven't played any games that I can think of that did do that. Not in any format that I can really appreciate. I've seen things in like Star Citizen that look really promising, but most people know that game it's still being made. It's gonna be still being made for a long time. And so that's why whenever I saw this in Steam, I really wanted to try it, because I love space stuff, and this is just, it's a nice mix. You've got the sci-fi elements, but you've also got all these old school weapons. You've got stuff all the way from World War II. I want to say that World War II is probably the earliest. Most of the earliest weaponry seems to be World War II era, going up to maybe like it looks like 90s, because the idea is that some kind of big event happened in the 90s or something, and then they spent 70 years off in space because they ruined everything, I guess. So probably nuclear war. I don't know. I haven't paid attention to the lore. Who cares? But this game actually has a medium for me to indulge in the even if it's a shallow version. It's a version of the space pirate fantasy. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like an impromptu review so far. So this is still in early access. I don't know how long it's been in early access, because I really haven't been paying attention to that stuff that much. But it's still in early access, and it's ooh, that works out nicely, actually. It's pretty inexpensive. I think it's only like $30. I got it on sale. It had a free weekend recently. The scope of the game is really not that much. I mean, so you end up, you have your choice of a few different ships. Everybody starts with this ship, which is free. It's called the Rust Bucket, and it's 99.99999% of everything I use, because that way I don't have to worry. I don't have to feel bad if I leave it behind or it blows up. And then you really like start with pretty much you can get like a little pistol and like a harness that has some pouches on it and a little bit of ammo, and then other than that, you know, you can go and salvage in places like I just did, which is the safest way to collect things, or you can be a risky panda and venture into one of the hotly contested territories inside where people can shoot you. And you've got NPCs and you have players. Players are very, very likely to kill you very close to the entrances. So like here, where I just came in, if I was, you know, just having the absolute crap blown out of my ship, the best thing for me to do would be to just like go in, because now I'm perfectly safe and nothing can harm me while I'm in here until I open the airlock. That's whenever stuff gets risky again. And so this, where is this? I think this is the penal colony. We'll see. I mean, it probably already said it, but I didn't pay attention. Let me check comments while loading. I like the PvPvE format. The way this game feels is the vibe I want a grand campaign to have. Also, diesel pumping space is my jam. Hope they don't add too many high-tech guns, dark guns. I do really like the dark gun. I mean, I've only experienced one, so maybe there's. You said guns, so I'm gonna take. You know more than I do on this game so far, so I'm gonna. Yeah, this is definitely the prison. I'm gonna assume that you know better than I do. I got plenty of those, and I need those, so. What else? It's kind of like, it feels like Hunt Showdown quite a bit. I love Hunt Showdown for those who haven't played it. That one is like a Western style, super... Oh! Hey, are you a player? Ow! I genuinely don't have much of anything worth getting, just so you know.
No worries, man. I'm just gonna come out. Right, no worries.
Okay, well, I'd prefer to go the other way. I'll go this way.
Yo.
Yeah, what's up?
Alright.
Oh, there's another one. Cool. How's it going?
Yeah.
Bro. What is this button for?
Yeah, I haven't actually messed with it. Here you go, people. A genuine player versus player interaction. Oh, those are not players. I have kind of noticed in this game is that if you can talk to people, a lot of times they're pretty cool. All right. Well, you guys have a good time. I'm gonna try and memorize your appearances so I don't accidentally shoot. But I usually talk whenever I hear any people anyway.
Okay, because if we see someone and doesn't talk, we're just gonna shoot first. So.
Yep. Well, I usually do this.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
If they don't say anything back, then it's often a player, I think.
Alright, see you, man. No worries.
All right, see you later. They probably know better than I do, honestly. Oh, that. Oh! Oh, God! I think I hear another one, too, but I desperately need to heal. Whoo! I survived the shotgun in very close range. That is crazy. I'm gonna check comments while I'm healing. Get over the gear fear. It's more fun to use the cool toys and break them than sit on your horde like a dragon. Yeah, you know, you're right. I want to get a decent set of armor before I do that. I had some really good stuff, and I guess what I should probably do is I should probably do some salvaging. Just do salvaging until I can find, you know, like some Panzer or, you know, at least some like 8 or 9 ranked chest gear and headgear. But I've just had pretty bad luck. I did pick up some decent ones, but you know, I like to go full kit. You know, I don't want to bring I wasn't wanting to bring my crappy weapons. Testing.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
I'm fairly certain I heard somebody, but I don't. Maybe not. Oh, I forgot I have a medical box. So I guess if I need it, I can go ahead and open it. I'm gonna do it on ammo. Not great. Another medical crate. So yeah, the for people that don't like having to do a lot of Tetris style inventory management, this game is probably a nightmare. But I find it just really cool. I mean, I love that there's just so much stuff to get, and like the balancing mechanisms in this thing, to me, are just really good. You know, like I don't know if is it the exact same armor? Nope, that's worse. I feel like most things are balanced very well. So people have had some complaints though. One of the big complaints is people have complained about cheaters. I will say this: I don't tend to like see something happen and then assume people are cheating. I usually just assume that they are really good because I am really not that good. You know, so I just assume they're just better than me. And that if I were, you know, a super... Ooh, somebody opened that up. Hey, can you hear me? Oh. Oh, no!
Yeah, bro.
I'm dead! That was not very smart on my part. I knew I should have. So I'm assuming... I don't know, it says report. It wouldn't say that if that was just a... I don't know. Like, I would click this to see if, like, it says you can't report an NPC or whatever, but I don't have that option, so. Like, I don't want to actually file a report. I just wanted to see if it's an actual person. Okay. Well, let's do this then. Maybe I will do one more. It's always like that, isn't it? You know, just one more. Is it on my 10 mil? Yeah, okay. Let's get a sack. Yeah, I'll go ahead and keep that. Let's put that right here. Alright, in the spirit of what my friend JP has been telling me. Alright, what kind of weapons are we using? We're using that MP40. I feel like that should be enough ammo to last me for a while, but maybe I should get a backup. We'll get something a little longer range with 32. And maybe a pistol uses 32. Never mind, I don't have one. Yeah, I'll just use the Luger for my pistol if it comes down to it, but I shouldn't need one. And let's just bring some bandages, just in case I don't want to use the big one. And now I just need armor. Oh, cloth. Oh, boy. Actually, I could probably craft something better, but that's okay. All right. Let's give it another go. No spoilers, you find it when RNGesus says you get to discover it. I don't remember what that's in reference to, so... Oh, okay. Okay, you're talking about the world lore stuff, I think is what you're referring to. I got what you're laying down. So the loot in this game is a lot of fun. Actually, one of the things I think is really cool is that, you know, they really don't gatekeep you that hard. People are complaining about cheating. I did have some really weird deaths where somebody like popped out, instant headshot it seemed like, but I don't know. Like I've pulled that off in Rainbow Six before on accident, so I can't just assume that it wasn't that. I also, you know, am kind of naive, and I usually assume that people aren't so lame that they have to cheat all the time. But, and then the other complaints that I've seen were that people were upset that you can be so severely outclassed by people. Merchant ship. Let's do the merchant ship. Yeah, because I don't really want to do the mining frigate. Let's do the mining frigate. Either way, I'm going to be busting into a ship. Because I haven't shown y'all me doing that yet. People complaining about how whenever you are going up against players, especially players that are well equipped, that it is so hard to kill them because they're equipped with all that really good armor, and that it's just so difficult that it's like, you know, why bother? You know, like they're just gonna kill me. It makes it untenable to even stand a chance. And you know, I can say that hasn't been my experience. You know, I have been able to kill some people that are really well equipped. Not because I'm really good or anything. I got lucky, I guess. But, I mean, yeah, it's true that you can get totally decimated time and time again because of that. But at the same time, you can just take a little bit of time, you know, salvaging. Like, if I really wanted to, if I was really that worried about it, you know, and I didn't want to die all the time, then I could easily just salvage maybe like 5 times and just not pick up anything except for really, really good stuff. And that would probably be fine. Like it would not take me that long to get some decent armor, probably. Maybe even a decent weapon. I thought I could breach this bad boy. No, I guess not. No, I'm able to breach something. Let's go this way. Maybe it's this one. I think it is this one, actually. I love these things. And is it this one? No? Nope. It is not. Oh, there we go. Oh, I bet I'm gonna get shot. Woo! Please don't shoot me, please don't shoot me, please don't shoot me. There we go. Ta-da! Ooh, right next to an escape pod too. Alright, so this is my first time using a silenced weapon. So that's gonna be really cool. I never brought lockpicks, so I could learn how they work. Can I just like jump through here? Does not appear so. I'm gonna try one more time, just to be sure. So tired. Okay. So this is a ship. I didn't read which one. I'm kind of bad about that. There's somebody coming. They're coming this way though. They're acting kind of sneaky. Hello? That is not a player. Hello there. Oh baby, I like this. I think the stock is really helping the recoil. So I equipped a silencer and a stock. upgrade. I hear somebody. Please don't shoot me while I have armor off. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Where did you go? Alright, I'm gonna be a little quicker. Oh. Yeah! I do like this very much. That is even better. That's actually pretty good, I think. How big is it? Oh my god! That would be a player. I'm fairly certain. It's not an NPC. Oh man. Oh, I actually killed a player. Oh. When did I do that? Maybe I killed his friend. Maybe that's what happened. And then the Joker came for revenge. Okay. Well, I think that's probably all I'm gonna do on stream tonight. But you know, we talked about a lot and had a lot of fun. I felt like. So I'm gonna see how the stream went, and that way I can see if this, you know, method is gonna work in the future. And thank you for anybody who joined, you know, came along for this journey. And I hope y'all are having a wonderful, wonderful time. Take it easy and